I never wanted to be a whistleblower. The weight of the truth I carry threatens to crush me, but the world deserves to know. My name is Marcus Holloway, and until recently, I was a project manager for the Department of External Intelligence, a shadowy government agency dedicated to exploring the farthest reaches of human consciousness and unraveling secrets that defy the boundaries of the paranormal. What I've seen goes far beyond what anyone could imagine and challenges every notion we hold about the universe. These truths, no matter how horrifying, cannot remain buried. If you're reading this, brace yourself. I'm truly sorry for what lies ahead. My childhood was anything but ordinary. Growing up in a small Midwest town, I was the only child of strict, ambitious parents. They sacrificed everything to ensure my success, demanding nothing short of perfection. Good grades weren't just encouraged, they were mandatory. My father, a stern man with cold blue eyes, would review my report cards with the intensity of a military general inspecting his troops. My mother, though softer in her approach, was no less demanding. They envisioned a bright, prosperous life for me, even if it meant my own childhood faded into the background. I delivered on their expectations. Top of my class, a promising career, and dreams of wealth. But life has a way of taking unexpected turns, and not even my overbearing father could have foreseen where my path would lead. A clandestine government division, charged with uncovering truths so profound that they threatened to shatter the human psyche. After college, I began my journey as a humble data analyst for a tech firm, crunching numbers and analyzing trends. But fate had other plans. A chance encounter with a recruiter at a job fair led me to the Department of External Intelligence. The interview process was grueling, probing not just my skills but the very essence of who I was. It didn't take long for the executives to realize my potential lay far beyond spreadsheets and reports. After a series of evaluations that pushed me to my mental and physical limits, I was transferred to the psychical experiments sector, a shadowy division focused on harnessing psychic phenomena for strategic purposes. It was there I learned something extraordinary. I wasn't just an observer. I had special abilities, capable of accessing realms few humans could fathom. For a time, I served as an agent for remote viewing. My mind became a weapon, a silent observer spying on distant lands. With nothing but a meditative state and intense focus, I visualized enemy terrains and helped pinpoint critical targets for military operations. The weight of my actions haunted me. Was it ethical? I'm still unsure. But the adrenaline of contributing to national security was addictive, and so I pressed on. With each success, my role deepened, and so did my secrecy. My parents went to their graves believing I was just another government clerk, and my relationships dissolved under the strain of my hidden life. The truth wasn't something I could share, even if it meant a lifetime of loneliness. When I was promoted to project manager, the veil of secrecy lifted further, exposing me to truths I wasn't prepared for. Information that, if revealed, could rewrite history. You've likely noticed the surge in UFO or UAP sightings in recent years. My new role placed me squarely in the middle of this enigma. The world speculates about alien visitors piloting advanced crafts, but the truth is far more unsettling. These aren't machines, they're beings. Classified as seraphs within the department, they've been here for centuries. The ancient texts knew them by different names. The Bible called them angels. The Quran referred to them as malaika. Across cultures and continents, their presence has been chronicled in the skies above us. They are not visitors from a distant galaxy. They are something far closer and far more incomprehensible. My superiors claimed ignorance about the seraphs' origins and intentions. But my instincts, honed by years of deciphering lies and reading between the lines, told me otherwise. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were hiding something. A truth so terrifying it needed to be buried deep. Late nights in the office became a routine. I pored over classified files, hacked into computers above my clearance, and pieced together fragments of a story no one wanted me to uncover. Yet, with every revelation, dread clawed at my mind. What if I found something I couldn't unsee? As the saying goes, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. a childish metaphor for the grim reality I was stumbling into. It took months, but I finally unraveled the secret of the 33rd floor. A level so shrouded in mystery that even its existence was denied. The truth was worse than I imagined. The department had been communicating with the Seraphs, and they had built a machine designed solely for this purpose. Last week, I used it. The day began. Like any other, or so I pretended. I swiped my access card at the entrance of the Monolith, our towering brutalist headquarters, and rode the elevator to my office on the 24th floor. Smiling at colleagues and exchanging pleasantries, I masked the storm of nerves brewing inside me. The elevator's neon display ticked upward in soothing tones, the soft synth soundtrack a cruel mockery of the chaos in my mind. Once at my desk, I cleared my schedule under the guise of catching up on reports. In truth, I was preparing for the most dangerous act of my life. The elevator, of course, didn't stop at the 33rd floor. There wasn't even a button for it. The controls jumped from 32 to 34, leaving the forbidden level invisible to casual observers. But I wasn't a casual observer. Remote viewing techniques had revealed an access hatch on the 28th floor, hidden behind a row of servers. The server room was easy to access, a simple distraction enough to slip in unnoticed. The hatch wasn't hard to find, but as I peered into the maintenance shaft, unease gripped me. The ladder spiraled downward into a void so dark it seemed infinite, as though the shaft itself defied the building's physical dimensions. The Monolith was no stranger to the bizarre. Its endless labyrinth of corridors and whispers of spectral sightings had become the stuff of internal legend. An abyssal ladder fit right in. Climbing down was grueling, each rung a battle against the oppressive silence. When I finally reached the 33rd floor, I emerged into a reception area that felt out of place. The silence was deafening, an eerie contrast to the hum of activity elsewhere in the building. No guards, no welcoming party, nothing but an unsettling stillness. The 33rd floor lived up to the Monolith's nickname. Its brutalist aesthetic was unrelenting. Concrete walls stretched upward into a cavernous ceiling, higher than seemed physically possible. Yet the decor was a bizarre juxtaposition. Persian rugs lined the floor, vintage lamps cast a warm glow, and boxy old-school computers adorned desks. The department's love for retro technology was no secret. They claimed it offered better protection against modern hackers. Ahead of me stood a door marked testing and research in bold, unassuming letters. Felt like an invitation, or perhaps a warning. Swallowing my fear, I pushed through. Beyond lay a corridor that seemed to stretch endlessly, its walls adorned with strange, ancient symbols that seemed to shimmer faintly as I passed. Each step forward felt heavier than the last, as though the very air resisted my intrusion. The sounds emanating from the rooms I passed were a twisted symphony of the unknown. Soft moans mingling with agonized screams. Each noise carried an eerie resonance that crawled beneath my skin. I couldn't begin to fathom what horrors lay beyond those doors, and yet, they filled me with a grim curiosity I dared not act upon. At the end of the corridor stood a pair of imposing double wooden doors, their polished elegance clashing violently with the raw concrete walls around them. As I approached, a digital camera in the corner caught my eye. My heart sank. There was no doubt I had been seen. The clock was ticking, and hesitation was no longer an option. I pushed the doors open, bracing for what lay beyond. Yet, nothing could have prepared me for the sight before me. Gone were my expectations of towering machinery and blinking monitors. Instead, the room was shockingly sparse. A lone leather couch faced a bulky CRT television perched on a plain wooden stand. No wires, no control panels, just an outdated, almost absurdly mundane setup in the middle of an otherwise sterile, concrete void. I stepped forward, my breath caught between fascination and dread. A single remote sat on the couch, its simplicity unnerving. There were no numbered buttons, just one solitary red circle, the power button. Every rational thought screamed for me to turn back, but something deeper urged me onward. I sank into the leather seat, the cold material stiff beneath me, and pressed the button. The TV roared to life with an explosion of static, a chaotic sea of sound and light that seemed to reach into my very being. My vision blurred, and reality itself seemed to twist and collapse. Time lost all meaning, each second stretching into eternity while simultaneously vanishing in an instant. And then, I knew I wasn't alone. The Seraph's presence was unmistakable, an otherworldly weight pressing against my mind. It didn't speak in words. Instead, its communication was something far more profound. Information, emotions, and understanding poured into me as if plucked from the air, yet it was undeniably alien. For a fleeting moment, I felt it inside me, not a physical intrusion, but as though it wore my existence like a temporary suit, experiencing the world through my senses. I asked the questions I had prepared for this moment. Where do you come from? Why are you here? The answers that followed weren't spoken but delivered as a sensation, a concept that defied human language. I grasped fragments, tenuous threads of understanding that hinted at the vastness of the universe and our insignificance within it. The Seraph offered a metaphor, simple yet staggering. Imagine a house where each room represents a planet. Humans, confined to one room, might eventually learn to move to another, crude as our understanding of space travel is. But the Seraphs, they had always been there, in a place that mirrored our house, occupying the same space but reversed. Two dimensions, side by side, but unaware of each other due to their mirrored nature. They had not come to us, they had always been here, existing in a parallel state that defied human comprehension. In that moment, I understood the terrifying truth. Humanity wasn't alone, and we never had been. The Seraph revealed a chilling truth. Their visits were no accident. They were partaking in a great harvest. Having traversed countless universes, they had now set their sights on us. Human souls held a unique, ineffable significance to their existence. Our death was their sustenance, and the harvest was beginning. Strangely, I felt no fear. The Seraph's presence was soothing, its whispered truths wrapping around me like a comforting shroud. It unraveled the illusions of my normal life, making everything I had ever known feel like a pale shadow of the true reality it exposed. The secrets it imparted weighed heavily on my mind, but its guidance kept me steady through each revelation. Then, without warning, the TV blinked off, leaving a fleeting afterimage of static before plunging the room into darkness. The silence was deafening, the emptiness suffocating. I had learned too much, perhaps more than anyone was ever meant to know. Panic set in, and I bolted for the door, desperate to escape the weight of what I had just uncovered. When I reached the floor's hatch, two department officials were already there, waiting. Their calm voices did little to mask their readiness for violence, their hands gripping concussion devices tightly. Their intent was clear. I would not leave this floor alive. What happened next is a blur. It feels as though those moments were stolen from my memory. One instant, I was surrendering, hands raised in resignation. The next, I was gripping the jagged edge of a broken lamp, standing over two lifeless bodies. Their remains were a grotesque tapestry of torn flesh and twisted limbs, a horrifying tableau that I could not explain. Instinct took over. I had to escape. Whatever had happened here would see me imprisoned, or worse. Without hesitation, I dove into the maintenance hatch, descending the ladder with reckless speed. My heart thundered in my chest as I burst out of the building, blood-stained and frantic. The few people I passed stared, though whether they noticed the red splashes or simply the madness in my eyes, couldn't tell. Now, I write this from the anonymity of a library computer, unable to return home for fear of being found. It has been 7 days since that fateful encounter, and the Seraph continues to speak to me, whispering its plans for the months to come. I refused to die, and in my desperation, I made a choice, a deal. I would become their harvester in human form, an agent of their will. In return, they promised me eternity. For the first time in my life, I was not a pawn, not a tool for others to wield. The pact was mine to make, and in that moment, I felt powerful. If you are reading this, I am so sorry for what is to come. Hold your loved ones close, cherish every fleeting moment, for the harvest will be relentless. We will find you. You cannot hide forever. But as I sit here, staring at my blood-stained hands, a terrible thought echoes in my mind. What if I am wrong? What if this sense of power is just another form of manipulation? Perhaps I have doomed us all. If you are reading this, I beg you to forgive me. Hold your loved ones tight, cherish the moments you have, and prepare yourselves. Because when they come, it will not be with warnings or mercy. It will be with silence and shadows, harvesting all that we are. We will find you. You cannot hide forever. But maybe, just maybe, you can fight. The harvest is coming, and I am its herald.
If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling story. Your support helps us create even more thrilling content, and we're so grateful to have you with us on this terrifying journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, once you subscribe, the nightmare never ends.